Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari, Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki jai, Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashatara Shata Shishmar, Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja Śrīla Gurudeva ki jai, Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashatara Shata Shishmar, Bhaktivedānta Vaman Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai, Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashatara Shata Shishmar, Bhaktivedānta Swāmī Mahārāja Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatara Shata Shishmar Bhakti-siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Nityal Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Śrīla Gaura-Kiṣōra Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nityal Pravishta Śrīla sac-cid-ānanda-rūpaṁ Thakur ki jai. Nityal Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannatha Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rūpānuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Shri Rupa Sanātana Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jeev Gopal Bhattadasa Gunath, Śrī Gosvāmī Prabhu ki jai, Shri Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam Rai Ramanandari, Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai, Namacharya Śrīla Haridas Thakur ki jai, Prem se kaho Shri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Bhrājamānam Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kunda ki jai, Shri Muna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai, Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai, Shri Purnamasi Yoga Maya ki jai, Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai, Shri Kartik Vrat Niyam Seva ki jai, Damodar Vrat ki jai, Urja Vrat ki jai, Urjeshwari Raseshwari, Shri Vishabhanu Nandini, Shrimati Radha Thakurani ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Shri Damodarāṣṭakam ki jai, Shri Satyavrata Muni ki jai, Shri Śrīla Sanātana Goswami's Dig-darśinī-ṭīkā ki jai, and my Śrīla Gurudev's Dig-darśinī-vṛtti ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Yaśodā Damodar ki jai, Radha Damodar ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Let's see, there's nobody here on Zoom yet, but here's Raseshwari Mataji. Hari Bol, Raseshwari Mataji. Wow, you're coming for everything, that's great. And Vidya Lalasa Didi, Hare Krishna, Dandavat pranams. And I see there are 5 devotees watching now on YouTube and Facebook. If you write a comment, then I'll know who you are. Otherwise, I just see a number. All right, so let us begin. Oh man, it's a little bit intense. We go straight from an hour and a half Japa Kirtan program, and then there isn't a single second gap in between. Oh, whoops. For some reason, the names are missing. Oh no, it says that it's just me. Okay, never mind. Okay. So, I'm going to share our screen. Yesterday, we didn't complete my Śrīla Gurudev's, Dig-darśinī-vṛtti on the first verse. So, we will first complete that, and then we will move on to verse number 2. Okay, I'm going to share my screen now. One second. Because I don't get a second gap in between both programs, I haven't set anything up yet, so you can watch me do it. Okay, where is it? Damodarāṣṭakam. This is a file that we're working on. This is a proofread document. So, if you find any mistakes, please point them out, and they will go into the book. You can help with the next edition of this book. So, what page is it? Okay, so we are on verse 1. Let's recite this together. if there are any words that you're not totally clear on, let me know, because I'm hoping that by the end of this, by the end of reading this, we'll be very clear on what the Sanskrit means for each one of these words. So yesterday we read namāmi. Namāmi means I offer pranam. To whom? To Ishvaram. To Ishvar. And Śrīla Sanātana Gosvāmī explains that Ishvar means three things. It is, what was it? Sarva Shaktiman. Like in the first verse of Brahma Samhita. Oh no, that's Sarva Karanam. Anyway, sorry, I'm gonna stop speaking so much. Let's just get to this. Okay, so Sarva Shaktiman. What was the second one? It was my mind went blank. Sarva, I think it was Jagat Ekanatha. That's what it was. It was the sole Lord of the three worlds. And yeah, the only Lord that there is, the sole Lord, one without a second, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then the third meaning was Nija Prabhu, my own Prabhu, my own Supreme Lord. And so then that Supreme Lord has a sac-cid-ānanda-rūpaṁ. He has a form which is composed of sac-cid-ānanda, eternality or existence, knowledge, especially knowledge of a relationship, and ananda, bliss. On his ears, lasat-kuṇḍalaṁ. There are kundala, there's earrings, lasat, that are swinging. Lasat-kuṇḍalaṁ, swinging earrings. Gokule, in the land of Gokul, the land of cows and what's going on? It's so strange. Anyways, doesn't matter. On my video, it keeps on doing stuff to my video. So lasat-kuṇḍalaṁ, gokule bhrājamānam. Within Gokul, he is bhrājamānam. He is resplendently situated. He's brilliantly manifest in Gokul. Yaśodā-bhiyolūkhalād. Now we begin the pastime. So this is going through first namaskar, offering pranam. Then we have a description of the Zrup, and now the Lila. And then first tattva, right? He's sac-cid-ānanda-rūpaṁ. He's Ishvaram. Then it goes into the Rupa, his form, and his qualities. And now Lila. Yaśodā-bhiyo, in fear of Yaśodā, vṛtti, from the grinding mortar, dhāvamanam, he runs. So he leaps off the grinding mortar and then he runs. Paramrishtam, from behind he is caught. Atyantato, ultimately, he's ultimately caught from behind. Drutya gopya, by the running gopi. That's Mother Yaśodā. Why? Because ultimately Mother Yaśodā was able to run faster than Kṛṣṇa, so she was able to catch him. And so we went through Śrīla Sanātana Gosvāmī's Dig-darśinī-ṭīkā, and also my Śrīla Gurudev's Dig-darśinī-vṛtti. We got to, what point did we get to? I didn't write down the page number, so we'll just have to, let me make this smaller, and we'll just have to, and Śrīla Sanātana, okay, so my first Śrīla Gurudev, let's see, he explains that there are three kinds of pranam. There are namaskaratmak, vastu nirdeshatmak, and ashirvadatmak. And all those kinds of pranam are within this song. Then my Gurudev tells how, what is it? So he gives so many different verses from Śrīmad Bhagavatam describing the beautiful form of Kṛṣṇa. And he explains how the form, actually Sanātana Gosvāmī does first, and then my Gurudev elaborates on those verses and gives the whole context for the verses, and he also gives more verses describing Krishna's beauty from Śrīmad Bhagavatam mostly, and maybe some, no, I think it was just Śrīmad Bhagavatam. And he explains how Krishna's beauty manifests in proportion to the love of the devotee. So according to the devotee's love, Krishna will manifest himself in a completely unique way. And he gives evidence from Brihad Bhagavatamrita, from Śrīmad Bhagavatam. He also mentions the point, and in relation to Krishna's beauty, there's a verse, I think it was Uddhav speaking to Vidura. Or Vidura speaking to Uddhav. No, Uddhav speaking to Vidura, and he explains how Krishna's, usually ornaments beautify somebody, but Krishna is so beautiful that he beautifies his ornaments. That's... Okay, so, and then we made it to the end part. Let's just read from here. See, look here. Let's just read from this point. When Sri Krishna, manifesting all the splendor of his incomparable form, appeared in the assembly of the gopis, they became completely overwhelmed with love for him. The love that Bhagavan's associates have for him within their hearts determines how much his immaculate beauty is revealed. Sri Bhagavan manifests his personal sweetness according to the greatness of his associates' love for him. Srila Shukadeva Goswami further clarifies this, and he gives this verse, Chakasa Gopi Parishad Kator Chitus Trailokya Lakshmeka Padam Vapur Dadat. As Bhagavan Shri Krishna sat among thousands upon thousands of gopis who were all worshipping him, he appeared so splendid. All the beauty throughout the three worlds, all the beauty ever manifest in the past, all the beauty ever manifest now, and all the beauty that will ever manifest in the future, is only the dim glow from a drop of Sri Bhagavan's own beauty. He alone is the abode of all beauty. And then my Gurudev explains that Sri Nārāyaṇa is also so beautiful. So beautiful that Lakshmi remains constantly engaged in his service. But even that beautiful Nārāyaṇa, Lakshmi, that's not like she performs austerities, wanting to get the darshan of Sri Krishna, and to participate in that lila, but she's unsuccessful. So that beauty of Krishna is unsurpassed even amongst all the different avatars, all the incarnations. Swayam Bhagavan Shri Krishna is the most beautiful, and for every devotee, he manifests a particular personal form for that devotee. So each devotee sees Krishna in a unique way because he reciprocates according to that devotee's love and manifests his beauty accordingly. So the way one, I think you can even go as far to say the way that Srila Rupa Goswami sees Krishna is different than the way that Sanātana Goswami sees Krishna. Krishna manifests himself in a different way to Rupa Goswami than he manifests himself to Sanātana Goswami. Different. That's why we have, So, what we ended up with yesterday was the explanation. Okay, so Gurudev explains this lila and from chapter 9 of the 10th canto of Śrīmad Bhagavatam, this Yaśodā the Dambandhan lila. So many gopis constantly complains to Śrī Yaśodā, "Your son steals from our houses and eats our butter. Oh Yaśodā, worse than that, he throws milk, yogurt, and butter everywhere. If he actually ate it, it would be all right, but he doesn't. He smashes our pots of milk and yogurt and unties the calves. How can we tolerate this daily loss of milk and yogurt any longer? We have decided to leave your settlement of Vraj and live elsewhere." So Mother Yaśodā was hearing these complaints every day. She began to wonder, could it be that my darling boy finds the butter that comes from his own house not tasty? Is it sour? Is that why he doesn't eat it? Okay, I will make it myself. And so then she personally milks the cows, Ganga, Pishangi, Mangala, and boiled the milk, and then did everything. She started turning. My Gurudev explains how her turning sound was sounded like the mridanga and kartals. It said diktan, diktan. That was the noise that was, her bangles were like kartals, and then Kṛṣṇa. She was so absorbed in the Kṛṣṇa, he woke up, and usually Mother always sings songs to wake me up, but this time I don't see her. Like she's not here. And she started crying, but she couldn't hear him because she was so absorbed in her kirtan, in her sankirtan. And so that Supreme Lord, who is Atmaraman Aptakam, he was hungry, and he began... sorry, I'm not very good at summarizing. With great difficulty, Kanaya, who was lying on his belly, moved little by little to the edge of his bed, and then got down, rubbing his eyes and crying. He somehow made it to where his mother was churning, tottering like an intoxicated elephant along the way. He caught hold of the churning rod and stopped it from twirling. Mother Yasoda's absorption broke. Seeing her darling son at her side, she immediately sat him on her lap and began breastfeeding him. Just by seeing her dear Kṛṣṇa, her limbs became decorated by all the Ashta-sattvik bhavs, including an extra sattvik bhav, in addition to the 8. There is the one that's unique to Vatsalya Ras, that's milk flowing from the breasts. So then there's a description of this whole lila according to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. According to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, baby Kṛṣṇa is the Vishaya Alambana of Vatsalya Ras. That is, he is the object upon which motherly love depends. His mother, Śrī Yasodā, is the Ashraya Alambana. She is the reservoir of love for him. Kṛṣṇa is the object, and she is of love. She is the reservoir of love. And baby Kṛṣṇa's gorgeous face is the udipan, or the stimulus that rouses motherly love. When she sees his face, then that love is aroused. So udipana is the stimulus, those things that stimulate remembrance, which stimulate the love. And Mother Yasoda's tears, the standing on end of her bodily hairs, the flowing of milk from her breasts, and so on, are the sattvika bhavs, or transformations of ecstasy in her body. So all these ingredients of love, namely vibhav, is those 3 things that we mentioned in the beginning, which is Vishaya Lambana, Ashraya Lambana, and Udipan. Then Anubhav, these are the deep emotions that are realized through outward expressions of the body, and so forth. Then combined with Mother Yasoda's own Sthayi Bhav, her own permanent mellow, her own permanent feelings for Kṛṣṇa, namely Vatsalya-bhakti. And so when all these things began, these things mixed together with her Vatsalya-bhakti and began to make her relish Vatsalya Ras. Suddenly, the milk started boiling over as if it were thinking, Mother Yasoda's breasts are the source of all milk contained within all the universes. Her supply of breast milk is inexhaustible, and the stomach of baby Kṛṣṇa is not at all small. All the universes can fit inside it. She will never tire of breastfeeding him, and he can drink forever. In that case, I will always remain bereft of the opportunity to serve Kṛṣṇa. Therefore, it is pointless to maintain my worthless life, a life devoid of service. So he began to sacrifice himself into the fire. Practicing sadhaks should also have this type of anxiousness. They should think, if while performing bhajan, we do not gain a glimpse of Śrī Bhagavan or realize his mercy, we do not realize the mercy of his pastimes and divine abode, then our lives are worthless. In this regard, it is important to carefully deliberate on Śrīla Rupa Gosvāmi's definition of Uttama Bhakti, or pure devotion. Okay, this is where we left off yesterday. Sorry, that was a very long introduction. Oh my God, I went on for 18 minutes. Oh God. We'll see how far we get through. I'm going to be timely, though. We'll end right at 8:30, and then we'll sing Damodarāṣṭakam at 8:30. So we'll just see how far we get. Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadhyana-vṛttam anukulena Kṛṣṇānu shilanam bhaktiruttama. It's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the Eastern division in chapter 1, verse 11. Oh, Hare Krishna, Nri Hari Prabhu, and Bhavatarini Mataji, and Raj Bhuvan Yadavji, and everybody else watching. I see there's 6 people watching. Hari Bol, everybody. Okay. When bhakti is performed without... So this is the ultimate definition of uttama bhakti, or pure devotion. When bhakti is performed without any other desire than the aspiration to bring happiness to Kṛṣṇa, when it is not covered by the endeavor to accumulate dry knowledge, result-oriented work, or any other practice for attaining a goal unrelated to him, and when it is cultivated solely with a favorable disposition towards him and for his benefit, then it is called uttama bhakti, supremely pure devotion. In this verse, the characteristics which describe bhakti are divided into 2 categories. There's the sarup lakshan and the tatastha lakshan. The first category, sarup lakshan, includes the intrinsic qualities of bhakti. The second category, tatastha lakshan, includes the marginal qualities of bhakti. And the way I understand it is what bhakti is and what bhakti isn't. There's a footnote here. The intrinsic qualities describe the direct nature of uttama bhakti, while the marginal qualities describe what must be avoided for the intrinsic qualities to qualify as uttama bhakti. That's a more accurate definition than what I gave. But yeah. Okay. To communicate how our bhakti can be perfected, the modifier anukulyena, with a favorable disposition, has been used, because one cannot perform bhakti with an unfavorable disposition. That is to say, one who acts in opposition to Śrī Kṛṣṇa cannot be performing bhakti. Certainly, exalted realized personalities have stated that anukulyena means the tendency to perform activities that bring pleasure to Kṛṣṇa, and that the inclination to please him with a favorable disposition is bhakti. However, if this latter definition is accepted, one of 2 faults may arise. Some things which are encompassed by this definition, which should not be included within a description of bhakti. This is called ati-vyapti dosh, the fault of overextending the definition. You're including too much within the definition. No, that's not included. Yeah, and then similarly, it excludes things that should be included. It excludes things that should be included within the definition. This is called avyapti dosh, the fault of underextending the definition. So, ati-vyapti would be including chanura, mushtika, and so on, because they're giving Kṛṣṇa pleasure when he's fighting. But that would be overextending. You're including chanura and mushtika in the definition. No, so bhakti is not just giving pleasure to Kṛṣṇa. And then avyapti dosh would be underextending the definition. That means you're not including Yaśodā Devi's love for Kṛṣṇa, because she's causing Kṛṣṇa displeasure. So that's what's going to be explained now. Ati-vyapti dosh and avyapti dosh, the fault of overextending, including too much in the definition, and avyapti dosh, underextending, not including enough in the definition. For example, in the wrestling match, Chanura, Mushtika, and other demons were striking Śrī Kṛṣṇa's limbs. Śrī Kṛṣṇa was certainly enlivened by their attack and began to relish the mood of being a great hero, Vira Ras. How can the attacks of the demons be understood as pleasurable for Kṛṣṇa? The answer to this is found in part of a verse from Śrīmad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 13, verse 30. It says, Manasvinam iva sat samprahara. Although in the eyes of ordinary people a terrifying battle with an enemy seems torturous, it is in fact exhilarating for the fighters. In that case, if we conclude that the demons' horrible attacks during the wrestling match were acts of bhakti because they gave pleasure to Śrī Kṛṣṇa, then the fault of ati-vyapti dosh, overextension of the definition, arises. The fault of ati-vyapti arises. Even though these malevolent endeavors caused Sri Kṛṣna to feel pleasure, which is apparently the quality of bhakti, they were actually strictly opposed to bhakti. Conversely, so it's not really what Krishna is feeling, it's all about the feeling of the devotee. Conversely, consider the example of Mother Yaśodā breastfeeding Sri Kṛṣna as he lay on her lap. At the same time, the milk she had kept on the stove was boiling over into the fire. After taking Sri Kṛṣna, who was not yet satisfied, off her lap, she went to save the milk. This caused him to experience much displeasure, as stated in Śrīmad Bhagavatam 10.9.6. Sanjata kopa spuritarunādharam. His tiny reddish lips began quivering from anger. Mother Yaśoda's action greatly displeased Sri Kṛṣna. But if we conclude that her endeavor does not come within the definition of bhakti, then the fault of avyakti dosh, under extension of the definition, arises. The nature of exalted devotees of the Mahabhagavats is that they want to engage every soul in Krishna's service. When Mother Yaśodā saw, there's a beautiful quote, anyways, I'm not going to look for it now. Should I look for it? I should look for it, just because it's so beautiful. One second. It'll take me 1 second to find it. Okay, I found it. This is Haribol Kishore Krishna. Okay, so this is on the back of this book, Shri Guru Vandana. So it says, the real symptom of a disciple is that he has offered everything at his Guru's lotus feet. He thinks, may everyone in the world, not just me, become the servant of my Guru. A genuine disciple should desire such an attitude. To serve Sri Guru, a real disciple gathers the best flowers, in other words, souls. He gathers the best flowers in the world and places them on his offering tray. It is this self-surrendering tendency that is Guru Puja or Seva. Such a tendency is not of this world, being born of Vaikuntha ideals. That's actually a quote from my Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Brigyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. So may everyone in the world, not just me, become the servant of my Guru. And he wants to gather all the best flowers in the world, all the souls of this world, and place them on his offering tree to offer. So, in the same way, the nature of exalted devotees of Mahabhagavats is that they want to engage every soul in Krishna's service. When Mother Yaśodā saw that the milk was sacrificing himself into the fire by boiling over because he was bereft of Krishna's service, she immediately removed her darling boy from her lap and tried to save it. With both of his hands, baby Kṛṣna firmly caught hold of his mother's breasts, and with his legs, he clung to her waist. He held on to his mother in this way with all of his might. Putana, who had the strength of 10,000 elephants, could not free herself from his grip. But in the presence of Mother Yaśoda's vātsalya-prema, Sri Kṛṣna, the possessor of all potency, could not stop her from putting him down. With one hand, Mother Yaśodā easily pushed him from her breast. Then she removed him from her lap, sat him down nearby, and went to save the milk. The Siddhanta, the perfect philosophical conclusion behind this incident is that Mother Yaśoda's love for Sri Kṛṣna is much greater than his love for her. Indeed, Sri Kṛṣna comes under the control of her love. In the presence of this motherly love imbued with deep possessiveness, all of Bhagavan's unlimited majestic potencies are defeated. 1 second, just checking the comments. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so all of Bhagavan's unlimited majestic potencies are defeated. Here, another point is to be considered. Although the superlative manifestation of Sri Krishna's unlimited opulence, his Aishwarya, is found only in Vraj, it remains submerged in the fathomless ocean of the sweetness contained within the Vraj pastimes. That is to say, even when Sri Krishna's infinite opulence is fully revealed, it easily fits within the all-accommodating embrace of Vraja's sweetness. And you might have heard me mention this example before. I've mentioned it a couple times, I think. But the example is if you have a cup of water and you put a teaspoon of salt in it, the water will taste very salty. And so the salt, I guess, is the Aishwarya, and the water is the water is the prem. I mean the madhurya. Sorry. I'm a bit slow this morning. So the water is the madhurya, the salt is the Aishwarya. If you take a spoon of salt and you put it in the water, it'll taste very salty. But if you get a big bag full of salt and you dump it in a rushing river, you won't be able. And you taste the water won't taste salty at all. And so, in Vraj, even though Krishna manifests even so much more opulence, a whole bag of salt. Because the madhurya is so overpowering, like a rushing river of water, even though there's so much Aishwarya in Krishna's pastimes, it's completely covered over by madhurya, so much that when you taste the water, you can't taste any salt. When you're seeing the pastimes of Krishna, you can't see any Aishwarya. It's because madhurya is so overpowering. So even when Sri Krishna's infinite opulence is fully revealed, it easily fits within the all-accommodating embrace of Vraja's sweetness. Mother Yasodā splashed cold water onto the pot of boiling milk as if to pacify it. She's saying, "I'm going to use you in Krishna's service right now," she said. "Don't give up your life like this." In the other room, however, baby Kṛṣṇa was in a fit of rage. He picked up a stone pestle lying nearby and hit the base of the earthen pot of yogurt that his mother was churning, and made a hole in it. A thick stream of yogurt began flowing all over the floor as Kṛṣṇa watched with fascination. Ooh. Although he was captivated by the sight of the stream of yogurt spilling onto the ground, it made him remember his mother. Consequently, he fearfully ran into a nearby room that had a doorway leading outside. But like a child, he easily gets distracted. He forgot about his fear. Hanging from the ceiling was a pot of butter that enticed his mind. He climbed up on top of an overturned grinding mortar and started eating the butter out of the pot, and at the same time feeding some of it to the crows and monkeys who had come. That's something I find so fascinating about children also, is how quickly they can switch emotions. Like you'll see a baby that's crying like anything, like screaming and going, like his face is completely red, and then all of a sudden if you just like jump in front of it and do something silly, then all of a sudden it will burst into laughter. So little kids can switch from emotions really. So Kṛṣṇa ran in fear from Mother Yasodā, and then all of a sudden he saw the butter and then he completely forgot his fear and jumped up and started like that. When Mother Yasodā returned to the pot of yogurt to continue her churning, she saw the stream of yogurt flowing from the broken pot. She thought, "This is surely the work of my clever son." Srila Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur says in his commentary on Śrīmad Bhagavatam 10.9.7, Kṛṣṇa was highly skillful in breaking the earthen pot, for he did not make a sound, nor did his ornaments. Nor did he make any sound in the other room as he climbed on top of the grinding mortar to take butter. Those are qualities of an expert thief. Indeed, this could only have been the accomplishment of her intelligent son. By the tiny footprints of yogurt on the floor, the sweet smell of butter coming from the room nearby, and various other clues, Mother Yasodā easily guessed. My beloved son has entered that very room. Peering inside, she saw Śrī Kṛṣṇa standing on the grinding mortar, stealing fresh butter. Oh, I'll turn on noise suppression. One second, let me turn on this noise suppression. We're starting construction work. Okay. Oops, forgot to share my screen. 1 second. All right. So Mother Yasodā easily guessed, my beloved son has entered that very room. So she saw Kṛṣṇa, peering inside, she saw Śrī Kṛṣṇa standing on the grinding mortar, stealing fresh butter. She took a small stick in her hands to punish her clever child and tiptoed into the room like a cat. But as soon as she entered, the crows and monkeys fled. Śrī Kṛṣṇa immediately understood, Mother has come! And he leapt from the grinding mortar and fled outside towards the royal lane. Mother Yasodā also ran onto the road, pursuing her son. The silk cloth on Mother Yasoda's somewhat full bluish limbs fluttered as she swiftly ran, and the beautiful fragrant flowers that were woven into her braid began to fall, as if to say, Mother Yasodā, you are not alone. We are also with you. Catch him, quickly. Mother Yasoda's pace exceeded Kṛṣṇa's, and thus she caught him from behind. See how in Vraj, even all inanimate objects are like conscious. The milk's trying to sacrifice itself onto the fire. The flowers are with Yasodā saying, you're not alone. We are also with you. Catch him quickly. If we are to obtain Śrī Kṛṣṇa, and so Kṛṣṇa caught Mother Yasodā from behind because she ran more quickly than he did. What does that mean? What's the deep purport behind that she ran more quickly than Kṛṣṇa? It's going to explain now. If we are to obtain Śrī Kṛṣṇa, then we must love him more than he loves us. Only then can he be controlled. We will also have to love him with great intimacy, Vishrambha Bhav, and with the same simple natural attachment, Lokik Sadbandhuvat, as the residents of Vraj, especially the Gopas and their wives. Śrī Kṛṣṇa may be pleased with love that is mixed with the moods in awe and reverence, Aishvarya, but he cannot be controlled by it. He might be pleased by it, but he cannot be controlled by it. Just see, with the mood of a simple mother, Śrī Yasodā naturally regards Śrī Kṛṣṇa as her son and chastises him. Śrī Kṛṣṇa is offered worship everywhere else, but when he is in Vraj, he is the servant and the inhabitants of Vraj are his masters. On the command of the gopis, he begins to dance. He puts Nanda Baba's slippers on his head and delivers them to him. Under Yogamaya's influence, he forgets his supremacy and enacts his pastimes as an ordinary human being. This is called Madhurya Lila, Śrī Kṛṣṇa's honey-like pastimes. Although Śrī Kṛṣṇa's pastimes in Vraj are full of opulence, that opulence does not even slightly stifle the love that the inhabitants of Vraj have for him. Instead, it invigorates their honey-like love, causing it to condense even more. This is the speciality of the love in Vraj. Yeah, isn't that the definition of love? Is it in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that when all the elements are there that one would think would diminish the love, it actually only increases the love. So in Vraj, more Aishwarya doesn't actually make them feel awe and reverence. No, it just increases the madhurya. The practicing devotee, the sadhak, should also desire to perform activities that will melt Śrī Kṛṣṇa's heart. Śrī Kṛṣṇa will not be able to resist him for very long. He will accept that devotee with his whole heart and immerse him in his own sublime service. Thus ends the Dig-darśinī-vṛtti of the first verse. It's the commentary by my Śrīla Gurudev, Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Okay, so this is such a beautiful sentence. The sadhak should also desire to perform activities that will melt Shri Krishna's heart. So when you go through any kind of difficulty, we see that, like, if we go through any difficulty in Krishna's service, we feel, I'm doing this for Krishna, and this is going to melt Krishna's heart. He's going to see the difficulty that I'm going through for him, and he'll be melted by. And so then, instead of feeling any suffering and difficulties in service, it actually gives us the supreme joy, because because it's in connection with Krishna, and it increases that relationship with Krishna. So that's why Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur says it. I love this verse from Atma Nivedan. Tomar seva dukkha hoy jato sheo to paramasuka. In your service, any kind of difficulties, suffering that I experience is in fact the supreme joy. It's the sheo to param. That is the supreme happiness. That's why Draupadi says, she prayed. No, Queen Kunti prays that I pray that these calamities happen to me again and again, because it forces me to pray to you with desperation. That's not exactly what she said, but yeah, this is how we build our. And that's why in Braj you see that everything is not so peaceful. There's always trouble and drama and crazy things happening all the time, because this increases the love and the ras and the relationship with Krishna. We don't want everything to just be peaceful and nice and happy and like that. We want these difficulties to come. Okay. Oh, Haribo. Haribo, Ujjwala Pradha Mataji. Dandavat pranams. Oh, and Hare Krishna Shubhananda Prabhu. Okay, so now we begin verse 2. Rudanta muhur netra-yugmaṁ rajanta karāmbhoja-yugmena sātaṅka-netram moho śvāsa-kampa-tri-rekhāṅka-kaṇṭha sthita-graiva-dāmodaraṁ bhakti-baddham. Pretty sure it's supposed to be śvāsa, right? Not swasa. I think there's supposed to be a thing over the S. Yeah, see it, śvāsa. Okay, 1 second. Need to highlight this. Boom. Again, just mentioning, this is a proofreading document. We're going to reprint this very soon. If anybody finds any mistakes, it will help us a lot if you point them out. Okay, so let's break this down. Rudantam means weeping. Muhur means incessantly. Netra-yugmaṁ mrajantam. So like yugala. Yugala means divine, like couple. Yugala kishore, the youthful couple. So yugma means two things. Netra, eyes. So netra-yugmaṁ, the two eyes. With his two eyes, he's mrajantam. He's rubbing them. So rudantam muhur netra-yugmaṁ mrajantam. Crying incessantly. His two eyes rubbing. Rubbing with his karāmbhoja. Kara means hands, and amboja means lotus. And yugmena, with the two. So with his two lotus hands, he is mrajantam, he is rubbing. Sātaṅka-netram. Sātaṅka means with fear, with dread. Netram, his eyes are expressing extreme fear. Right? Let's see what the Sātaṅka, with fear-filled eyes. Yes. And then again, this word muhu, which means incessantly, again and again. Śvāsa means breath. Sighing, like heaving. Is that the word heaving? Yeah, sighing. Kampa. Kampa means trembling. So he's taking big gasps and rubbing his eyes. And he's trembling which that trembling and the heaving, or whatever the word is, tri-rekhāṅka-kaṇṭha, his neck, his kanta, which is marked with 3 lines, 3 rekha. Anka means marked, rekha means lines, 3 means 3. So 3 lines marked neck. That causes the sthita-graiva, causes the neck that is around, it causes the necklace that is sthita, situated on that neck, to tremble. Oh, so Kṛṣṇa is not trembling, it causes the necklace to tremble. Yeah, okay, sorry. Then that Damodar is bhakti-baddham. He is bound by bhakti. And remember, Dhamma means rope, and udar means belly. So Damodar means rope belly. So he who is tied by the belly. How is he tied? He's bound by bhakti. It's by bhakti that he becomes Damodar. Damodaram bhakti-baddham. Okay, so hopefully that is clear now. Let's look at the word for word here. Rudantam, weeping. Muhu, incessantly. Netra-yugmaṁ, 2 eyes. Mrijantam, rubbing both simultaneously. It should just be rubbing. Karāmbhoja-yugmena, with the 2 lotus hands. Sātaṅka-netram, with fear-filled eyes. Muhu, again and again, incessantly. Śvāsa, heavy sobbing. Okay, śvāsa is heavy sobbing. Sorry, I got that wrong. Oh, śvāsa also means, I think, but okay, heavy sobbing. Then kampa, trembling, tri-rekhāṅka, with 3 curved lines that resemble the ringed groves encircling the neck of a conch shell. Kaṇṭha sthita, upon his neck. Graiva, the necklace. Damodaram, Śrī Kṛṣṇa, whose waist udar is bound by rope. Dhamma, bhakti-baddham, is bound by loving devotion. Okay, now let's read the translation. Seeing the stick in his mother's hand and fearful of being beaten, he is weeping incessantly and rubbing his eyes again and again with his 2 lotus-like hands. His eyes are extremely restless and filled with fear, sātaṅka-netram, fear-filled eyes. He takes heavy breaths again and again. Okay, so that's how I was translating it. Śvāsa. Like that. That caused the pearls and other ornaments around his neck, which is marked by 3 gracefully curving lines, to tremble. Oh, Damodar, you have been bound by your mother's vātsalya-bhakti, her motherly devotion, her motherly affection for you. I offer my obeisances unto that Damodar. Okay, so now let's read Sanātana Gosvāmī's Dig-darśinī-ṭīkā, his commentary on this verse. And it's really, I think I'm personally not so into translations. I think when you rely too heavily on translations to understand the meaning, then you won't ever get familiar with what you're singing. And it completely changes the experience if you're singing something and actually knowing the meaning of the words coming from your mouth. And so that's why I don't like to place emphasis on the translation at all. I like to put it all on the Sanskrit. So yeah, it would be good if maybe I'll go over this again tomorrow, and I'll try to do it more succinctly and clearly, so that we can really start to get comfortable of understanding what we're singing. And I found when you actually know what you're singing, then kirtans will just start popping up in your head. Verses from different songs will start popping up in your head whenever you're in different situations without thinking about it. It'll just automatically come because you are familiar with the words already. Okay, so here's the Bhav Anubad of Śrīla Sanātana Gosvāmī's commentary. Dig-darśinī-ṭīkā Bhav Anubad. Hari Vasudevi Didi. The excellence of Kṛṣṇa's extraordinary lila is depicted in this important verse from Śrīmad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 9, Verse 11. Kritagasam tam prarudantamakshini kashantamanjan mashini swapanina udvikshamanam payavivalekshana haste grihitva vishayantyavagurat. Mother Yasodā watched as her naughty child cried bitterly and rubbed his eyes with both of his hands. The black ointment from around his eyes mixed with his tears and spread everywhere. Seeing her son with eyes full of fear at the sight of the stick that she was brandishing, Yasodā took him by the hands and began to gently reproach him in order to instill fear in him. Sātaṅka-netram, fear-filled eyes. In this stanza, beginning with Rudantam, Śrī Satyavrata Muni fully captured the meaning of this Bhagavatam verse. In following with the second half of the previous stanza, he continues to establish his worshipful Lord's supremacy through descriptions of his unique pastimes. Okay, so this is continuing on from, what is it? Yaśodā-bhiyolūkhalād paramrishta-matyam tato-drutta-gopya. Then comes Rudantam muhu netra-yugmaṁ rajantam karāmbhoja-yugmena sataṅka-netram śvāsa-kampa-tri, like that. It's all in a flow. Appreciating the same pastime that is described in the above verse from Śrīmad Bhagavatam, he spoke the present stanza thus. When he saw his mother holding a stick, he became apprehensive, fearing that she would surely beat him. Now he is hoping that by showing her how afraid he is, he can avoid being punished. He wants to make her feel guilty. So Rudantam, he cries bitterly, and karāmbhoja-yugmena netra-yugmaṁ rajantam. He rubs his eyes. What's the word for rubs? Vrajantam. He rubs his netra-yugmaṁ, his two eyes, with his amboja, his lotus, kara, hands. Karāmbhoja-yugmena, with his two lotus hands, he rubs his eyes. That he just keeps, and it's muhu, and he does it incessantly, right? That he keeps rubbing his eyes with both of his hands is in keeping with the natural behavior of a child. This is a special characteristic of his balya lila, of his childhood pastimes. And it is the explanation of karāmbhoja-yugmena netra-yugmaṁ rajantam. But this phrase also indicates two alternative meanings. What are the two meanings of mrajantam, that he's rubbing his eyes? The first of these is that there are actual tears that instantly came to his eyes due to his fear. In order to make these tears fall from his eyes, he continuously rubs them with both of his hands. The second alternative meaning is that continuous streams of tears are already flowing from his eyes, so he rubs his eyes with both his hands to wipe away the tears. Okay, so one, he's trying to make tears come from his eyes, and then the other is that actually tears are already flowing from his eyes, and so he's trying to wipe them away. The meaning of sātaṅka-netram, fear-filled eyes, is that the meaning of this is that if even his eyes are expressing that he is afraid of being punished, his mind must be overwhelmed with fear. Otherwise, it may be taken to mean he is casting his glance in all directions because he is greatly agitated by fear. His attempt to avoid being beaten by his mother is another of his unique confidential pastimes. And moreover, muhu swasena, because of his continuous crying and constant heavy sobs, kaṇṭha sthita-graiva-dāmodaraṁ, the pearl necklace and other ornaments around his neck. Graiva means necklace, sthita means situated, and kaṇṭha means on the neck. So the necklace situated on the neck, which is marked with tri-rekhāṅka, three graceful lines like the ringed groves on a conch, are also trembling, kampat. Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam, whose belly becomes bound by ropes, appeared thus. By this description, Śrī Satyavrata Muni has captured the meaning of another verse from Śrīmad Bhagavatam. This is verse 14 from this chapter 9 of the 10th canto. Tang matvatmajam avyaktam martyalingam adhokshajam gopikolu-khale damna pabandha prakritam yata. Just as an ordinary mother in this world may bind her mischievous son, so Mother Yasodā, simply considering Śrī Kṛṣṇa to be her son, tied him to the grinding mortar with a rope as if he were an ordinary child. Sorry, I don't know. I couldn't read that. The above verse mentions that the rope was knotted both at his belly and at the grinding mortar. There's a footnote here. It says, Mother Yasodā first tied one end of the rope around a heavy grinding mortar and then began to tie the other end of the rope around her child's belly in order to keep him securely bound. Thus, the sage has revealed, this is explaining the words Bhakti-baddham. The sage has revealed Śrī Kṛṣṇa's unique supremacy by describing his bhakta vashyata vishesh, his special quality by which he allows his devotees to control him. Bhakta vashyata vishesh. Śrī Satyavrata Muni says, Bhakti-baddham. The meaning is Bhaktivedānta, that Śrī Kṛṣṇa is only bound by bhakti and nothing else. In other words, it was not on the strength of all the ropes that was able to bind it was not the strength of all the ropes that was able to bind him. Rather, he submitted to being bound on one hand because of the power of Śrī Yashoda's bhakti for him in the form of motherly affection, and on the other hand, he was able to be bound because of his own special quality of willingly being controlled by his bhaktas, like his mother, in the form of his bhakti for her. So it was due to Yashoda's bhakti for him and his bhakti for her that he was able to become bound. That is why, even when Mother Yasodā tied all the ropes she had gathered together, she still failed to bind him. There always remains an inexplicable gap of 2 fingers. This is described in Śrīmad Bhagavatam in the same chapter, chapter 9, verses 15 to 17. Tadama badyamanasya svarbhakasya kritagasa dvayangulonam dvangulonam abhutena sandadhe nyachagopika. When Mother Yasodā tried to bind her mischievous child, the rope was 2 fingers too short, so she added another rope to it. Yadasitad api nyunam tenanyad api sandade tadapi dvangul. I don't know, I have a hard time saying that. Dvangulam nyunam yadyad adatta bandhanam. I'm just going to say dvi-angulam. That makes it easier. Dvi-angulam nyunam yadyad adatta bandhanam. However, that also was 2 fingers short. In this way, each and every time she tied on another rope, it was always 2 fingers short. Evam swagehadam damani Yasodā sandadadyapi. Although she had tied together all the ropes in her home, Mother Yasodā could not bind Kṛṣṇa. Seeing this, the gopis started giggling. Utterly perplexed, she also began to laugh. What is going on? The other reason that his belly became bound with rope, his Damodaratva, literally Damodaratva would be his belly bindedness. The reason for his belly bindedness. So the other reason that his belly became bound with rope, his Damodaratva, is that Bhakti-baddham. He is completely enchanted exclusively by the bhakti of his devotees. This meaning actually leads to the previous one, that he becomes bound because of his bhakta vashyata, his willingness to be controlled by his devotees. In regard to this, Śrīmad Bhagavatam, same chapter, chapter 9, verses 18 to 21, further states, swamatu swinagatraya visrasta kabarasraja drishtva parishramam Kṛṣṇa kripayasit sabandhane. She had become exhausted by tying so many ropes together, and her body had become covered with perspiration. The flowers woven into her hair had fallen from her loosened braid and had scattered here and there. Seeing his mother's fatigue and feeling compassionate, little Kṛṣṇa then allowed his mother to bind him. Evam sandarshita hyanga harina bhakta-vaśyata svavashenapi Kṛṣṇena yasyedam seshvaram vashe. O Mahārāja Parikshit, this entire universe, along with the powerful demigods who control it, is completely under the control of the supremely independent personality of Godhead, Śrī Hari. Yet, he has allowed himself to be bound in order to show that he is willingly controlled by his devotees. Nemam virincho na bhavo na shir apyanga saṅkṣaya prasadam lebhire gopi yat tat prapa vimuktidat. The Supreme Lord Sri Kṛṣṇa, who bestows salvation upon all, never showed Lord Brahma, Maheshwar, Shiva, or even his eternal consort Lakshmi Devi, who is half of his body, the kindness he showed this gopi, Yaśodā. Nayam sukapo bhagavan dehinam gopika sutta jnaninam chatma bhuttanam yatha bhakti matam iha. Bhagavan Sri Kṛṣṇa, the son of a gopi, Gopika Sutta, is not at all easy to attain for the Ashtanga yogis who identify themselves with the body and who perform severe austerities. Nor is he easy to attain for self-realized jnanis who are absorbed in all-pervading non-dual knowledge. But these loving associates who are absorbed in serving him, simply considering him to be the darling son of a gopi, have easily attained him. In other words, although the ascetics and impersonalists undergo great trouble, instead of attaining the Supreme Lord Sri Kṛṣṇa, they merely attain an incomplete or partial expansion of him. These verses have conveyed the aforementioned reason for being bound. And there's a footnote here. It says the reason is that Sri Kṛṣṇa is bound due to the quality of bhakta vashyata. Okay. I'm just looking at the comments. What does yugmena mean? Yugmena, so remember we said yuga means two, a couple. So netra-yugmaṁ means two eyes, and karāmbhoja-yugmena also means two hands. The ena at the end means by or with. So with his two hands, he's so with the two. Yugmena literally means with the two. With the two what? With the two karāmbhoja, with the two lotus hands. He is mrijantam. Okay. Later in Śrīmad Bhagavatam, Sri Kṛṣna declares, Devarshi me priyatamo yad imo dhanadatmajo tat tata sadayishyami yad gitam tan mahatmana. This is in the next chapter, chapter 10, verse 25. Devarshi Narad is my dear devotee. Therefore, even though these two brothers, the sons of the most wealthy demigod Kuvera, had no devotion for me, still I must fulfill Śrī Narad's words by appearing directly before them and granting them my devotional service. The deep meaning of this statement spoken by Sri Kṛṣna is that he enacted the pastime of delivering the two sons of Kuvera in the form of twin Arjuna trees because he was pleased by Śrī Narad's devotion to him. Indeed, he enacts all his pastimes because he is pleased with the bhakti of his devotees. This is yet another important meaning of bhakti-baddham, He is bound by bhakti. Thus ends the English rendition of the Dig-darśinī-ṭīkā on the second verse. This just reminds me of, that's the reason why if we pray to Kṛṣṇa directly, he probably won't hear our prayers, right? Because Sharanga Sharnagati, Hoi Bejahar, Tanhara Pratana Shune, Shinanda Kumar. Kṛṣṇa hears the prayers of one who fully embodies the 6 limbs of surrender. So if you're not fully surrendered, then it's not certain how really if Kṛṣṇa will hear your prayers. But Kṛṣṇa definitely hears the prayers of his devotees, like of his pure devotees, who are completely Sharanagat, who are completely surrendered, who have love for him. And so we pray to the devotees. That's more effective than praying to Kṛṣṇa. We pray to the devotees that they pray to Kṛṣṇa on our behalf. Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Thakur writes this whole, there's a whole song where he writes this point. It's called Kabe Shri Chaitanya More, Kori Bena Doya. He says, what does he say? Kandiya Janai Bodukur Gram Sangsara Anala Hoite Koribo Vishram. No, I'm mixing up songs. Then Shunya Amar Dukha Vaishnava Thakur Amalagi Krishne Ave Dibena Prachur. So I crying with straw in my teeth, I'll fall at the feet of the Vaishnavas and tell, and beg them for, and tell them of my suffering. And the Vaishnavas hearing about my suffering, they'll become compassionate upon me. And then on my behalf, they will pray to Kṛṣṇa. They'll pray to Kṛṣṇa on my behalf. And Vaishnavera Avedane Kṛṣṇa Doyamoy Eheno Pamar Prati Haben Sadoy. Then hearing the prayers of the Vaishnavas, then Kṛṣṇa will become merciful unto me. He will bestow his mercy upon me. That's the way to, so we place more emphasis on praying to the devotees to pray to Kṛṣṇa for us. And so in the same way we hear how it wasn't because of the twin Arjuna trees, it wasn't because of them that Kṛṣṇa was merciful, it was because of Narad Rishi. All right. Now, we only have 20 minutes, so we'll read a little bit of my Gurudev's Dig-darśinī-vṛtti and then end for today. On this day, Sri Kṛṣṇa, the personality who causes the 3 worlds to tremble merely by the movement of his eyebrows, that Sri Kṛṣṇa has become overwhelmed by fear of his mother. Seeing the tiny stick in her hand, he is trembling and stammers, "Mother, look, do not hit me. I didn't break the pot of yogurt." Mother Yaśodā is slightly full-figured. As she was running, her braid came undone. The flowers woven in her hair began falling out. It is as if the flowers were saying, "Mother, you are not alone. We are also with you." Those devotees who make their hearts spotless by endlessly drinking the nectar of devotion to Sri Kṛṣṇa, imbued with extreme attachment and laced with renunciation of the material world, attain a state of meditating on Sri Kṛṣṇa deep within their immaculate hearts, which are fully saturated by loving service. And I really like, we just went over recently how the word vairagya has 2 meanings. It either means, usually the general meaning, if you look in the dictionary, the general meaning for vairagya would be renunciation. But it also means, I think it's something like vaishishta rag, like extraordinary attachment. So from intense attachment comes to Kṛṣṇa, then detachment automatically comes from that. You become detached from anything of this world. So that's vairagya. Okay. The Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Nārayaṇa sometimes appears in the meditation of Lord Brahma, the creator of the universe, and the 4 Kumaras, the original sages. Still, in their deepest meditation, They cannot capture him in the form of Vrajendra-nandan Sri Kṛṣṇa. Yet Mother Yaśodā actually bound him, the complete embodiment of all nectarian, humorous, transcendental love. I meant to say the complete embodiment of all nectarian humors of transcendental love. Akila Rasamritamurti. Unimaginably powerful warriors, despite their greatest valor, pose no threat to Kṛṣṇa. But Mother Yaśodā not only captured him, she brandished a small stick in her hand and threatened him. Shall I beat you now? As Kanhaiya rubbed his tear-filled eyes and tried to hide behind his mother, he cried out, "Mother, do not hit me!" He did not look directly at her. He only looked fearfully at the stick in her hand. "You monkey thief!" she exclaimed. "Chor, thief!" Wait, did I say monkey thief? I meant to say monkey friend. "You monkey friends!" she exclaimed. "Chor, thief!" To this, Kṛṣṇa replied, "Mother, there is no chor in my dynasty. There is only a chor in your dynasty." Chor means thief. But also, let's look at the footnote. It says, Chor Gopa was the name of one of Śrī Yaśodā's ancestors. Chor literally means thief. So there's no thief in my dynasty. There's a chor in your dynasty. "Oh, really?" she retorted. "If you did not steal the butter, then who was feeding the monkeys?" Kanhaiya replied, "He who made the monkeys was feeding them." "Is that so?" she said. "Tell me frankly, who broke this pot?" "Look, mother, when you ran to save the milk, your large ankle bells hit the pot and it broke." "Then how did you get butter all over your face?" she asked. "Mother, the monkeys were eating the butter, so I was trying to scare them away. As they were running, they smeared butter all over my mouth." Hearing this exchange, all the gopis began to laugh. "I am not about to set you free so easily," Mother Yaśodā said. "I am going to tie you up." Mother Yaśoda's mood was grave. If I don't chastise him, she thought, he will become quite a troublemaker. With this in mind, she decided to bind him. Although Sri Kṛṣṇa started to cry, she did not let him go. She thought to herself, I will keep him tied up for a while, and when I have finished churning the yogurt, I will untie him and feed him butter and breast milk to calm him down. Mother Yaśodā considered, Kṛṣṇa is Kala. He is a cunning and mischievous thief. So Kala means cunning, and his accomplice is Ulukala, this grinding mortar. Both deserve to be punished. The Kala, cunning Kṛṣṇa, and the Ulukala, this grinding mortar. Kṛṣṇa and his accomplice. I will tie them together in such a way that Kṛṣṇa cannot untie himself from the mortar. Thinking thus, she proceeded to bind him. Taddama badhyamanasya svarbhakasya kritagasa. Wait, it should be dva. Dvi angulo namabhutena sandadhe nyacha gopika. Dvi angulo, yeah, that's what it is. Dvi angula, 2 fingers. When Mother Yaśodā tried to bind her mischievous child, the rope was 2 fingers too short. So she tied it to another rope. She had removed the silk ribbon from her braid in order to bind Kṛṣṇa with it. Other than the gold chain around his waist, Kṛṣṇa was quite naked. Although his tiny waist measured no more than 12 fingers, the ribbon could not be made to bind him. It was 2 fingers too short. Mother Yaśodā asked her friend for another rope, but that also was too short. Time and again she gathered and added more rope, but it was always too short, and only 2 fingers too short. Not more, not less. So why 2 fingers? There is an esoteric meaning in this. One finger represents the sadhak's endeavors, and the other finger represents the Lord's mercy. So the sadhak's cheshta and Krishna's kripa. One finger is the sadhak's cheshta, the other finger is Krishna's kripa. Sri Bhagavan becomes controlled by his devotee only when both of these elements are present together. The Ramanuja Sampradaya is divided into the Ramanuja Sampradaya is divided in two, according to whether they emphasize the Vedic scriptures or the Tamil scriptures. The former are known as the Vadakalai, and the latter the Tenkalai. They have distinct opinions regarding the means of ultimate attainment. The view of the Vadakalai Ramanujas is based on grace arising from a cause. Their stance is compared to Markata Nyaya, the analogy of the baby monkey clinging to his mother for protection. When the mother monkey moves about with her baby, she makes no effort to hold him. Instead, the baby clings onto her as she leaps from tree to tree, and if he falls, his mother will never accept him again. Conversely, the view of the Tenkalai Ramanujas is based on causeless grace. Their stance is compared to Marjara Nyaya, the analogy of a cat carrying the kitten in her mouth. The mother cat picks up her kitten with her teeth and carries him about. The kitten does not make any effort and goes wherever she takes him. Thus, the followers of the Vadakalai school strive for the grace of Bhagavan by their own efforts. And conversely, the followers of the Tenkalai school rely solely on faith in the causeless grace of Bhagavan, considering their own endeavors ineffective. The Gaudiya Vaishnava school asserts that both views are necessary. I'm just looking at the comments in the chat. Kishore is asking, what are the Tamil scriptures? I don't know completely the answer to that. I just know that there's always like a battle between the people in Tamil and people in other parts of India, northern parts of India. Like the Tamil people say that their language, Tamil, is the oldest, and everybody else says that Sanskrit's the oldest, the most ancient language. And there's always a debate going on between what is older, Sanskrit or Tamil. And so I guess Tamil, they have their own scriptures, but I don't know really fully. Okay. So the Gaudiya Vaishnava school asserts that both views are necessary. The following analogy is given to illustrate this stance. Okay, so both views. We need to make our endeavors in bhakti, but we also fully rely on mercy. Gaudiya Vaishnavas say that both are essential. The following analogy is given to illustrate this stance. A person who has fallen into a well will cry, "Please help me, pull me out." So that's the endeavor. You have to cry out, "Please help me, pull me out." Then from above, someone may lower a rope into the well and say, "I am lowering down a rope. Catch hold of it, and I will pull you out." However, if the person in the well does not catch hold of the rope, he will not be freed. From his end, he must hold onto the rope, and from above, he must be pulled out. Oh, wait, and my friend here, he sent a message. He says that like the Tamil scriptures, 12 South Indian Mahajans. Yes, there's the 12 South Indian Mahajans. What are they called? What are they called? The Alvars, right? And so is that the scriptures coming from the Alvars?
Yeah, the Alvars.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. Once again, I'm just seeing what he's writing. Yeah. Okay. Alvar.
What I heard too is that, yeah, what I heard too, that the language comes from Lord Shiva.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, so Gaudiya Vaishnavas, the Sri Guru will give his mercy, but we have to catch on to his mercy to actually, Sri Guru can't lift, like, so the rope will be lowered, but we have to grab onto the rope. Holding onto the rope, that's our cheshta, our endeavor. And the mercy is the rope being lowered. Yeah. However, if a person in the well does not catch hold of the rope, he will not be freed. From his end, he must hold onto the rope, and from above, he must be pulled out. In this example, the person in the well cries out for help, and later firmly catches hold of the rope. These endeavors are the means of his deliverance. In other words, they are his sadhan. From above, the person who is trying to pull him out is also bestowing causeless mercy. For someone helplessly fallen in the well of material existence, Sri Bhagavan's causeless mercy descends, just like this rope. And by performing sadhan, one takes hold of that rope and achieves service to his lotus feet. That's so interesting. They say that Tamil comes from Shiva's Damuru. Sometimes they say Tamil came from one side and Sanskrit came from the other of Shiva's drum. Yeah, because also, isn't that what Panini is? Panini's grammar is based on the sound from Shiva's Damuru. I mean, it all came from Shiva's Damuru. That's what it said. Okay. Mother Yasodā did not give up in her attempt to bind Kṛṣṇa. She kept trying. All the gopis began to clap their hands and say, "Oh, mother, the creator has not written on this boy's forehead that he'll be bound. So how can you tie him up?" Mother Yasodā felt ashamed. This is so embarrassing, she thought. I have not been able to bind the child that came from my own womb. Taking shelter of Bhagavan Sri Nārāyaṇa, she silently began to pray, "O Nārāyaṇa, please help me. If I cannot bind this boy today, it will be so shameful for me. Protect my honor." Her face had become reddish like the rising sun, and drops of perspiration had begun to roll down her face like pearls. Śrīmad Bhagavatam, this chapter on Dambandhan Lila, chapter 9, verse 18, describes this as follows. Swamatu svinagatraya visrasta kabarasraja drishtva parishramam Kṛṣṇa kripayasit sabandhane. Shri Kṛṣṇa saw that his mother's body had become drenched with perspiration. The garlands woven into her braid had fallen out, and she had become utterly exhausted. Seeing his mother's fatigue, little Shri Kṛṣṇa compassionately allowed himself to be bound. Sadhaks should perform sadhan bhajan with the same unwavering determination and hard endeavor. Then Shri Kṛṣṇa's heart will melt, and he will be compelled to bestow his sublime devotional service upon them. Indeed, when Kṛṣṇa saw his mother's firm resolve, his heart melted, and his topmost potency, what is his topmost potency? It is his mercy, the totality of all his powers combined, all of Kṛṣṇa's Shaktis combined, culminates in his topmost potency, his mercy. So then his mercy potency then manifested as his bhakta-vatsalyata, his affection for his devotees. At that very moment, his Aishvarya Shakti, his potency of supreme majesty, disappeared, and he allowed himself to be bound. Mother Yasodā made an intense endeavor with unflinching resolve. Following her example, sadhaks should try to melt Shri Kṛṣṇa's heart, and by practicing devotional service that is imbued with characteristics like sincere loving emotions with bhav, great enthusiasm and anxiousness, utkantha, a deep sense of closeness and relationship, sambandha, a feeling of possessiveness, mamata, and intense affection for him, vritti. With all these, they should compel him to engage them in loving service to him. Following Yashoda's examples, sadhaks should try to melt Shri Kṛṣṇa's heart by practicing devotion that's imbued with bhav, utkantha, sambandha, mamata, and vritti. And thus they should compel him to engage them in loving service to him. Regarding the previously mentioned verse from Śrīmad Bhagavatam, wait, what time is it? It's 8:26. Let's see how long this is. Maybe we should, let's see how long this is. Can we read this in 4 minutes? I think so. Yeah, I think so. Okay. So regarding the previously mentioned verse from Śrīmad Bhagavatam beginning with Swamatu, an important point must be considered. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains in his commentary on this verse. Says, Krishna's waist measures only 12 fingers, and the length of rope continually increased. Why then could his mother still not bind him? Krishna was thinking, my important daily activities of stealing butter and playing with my friends will be stopped, so my mother should not tie me up. Krishna's very important activities. Immediately, his Aishvarya Shakti, which makes the impossible possible, manifested herself within him and proceeded to serve him. Even Krishna's Aishwarya is like caused by Madhurya in Vraj. Consequently, although the size of his waist remains the same, and although the rope was made so long, his mother could not bind him. The Vraj Gopis were witnessing this. The Vraj Gopis were witnessing this pastime along with Mother Yaśodā. The Vraj Gopis who were witnessing this pastime along with Mother Yaśodā could not understand its mystery. Why was the rope 2 fingers too short? Śrī Krishna could not be bound by ordinary rope because all arrangements for his pastimes are made exclusively by his own intrinsic potency, Yoga Maya. Furthermore, there is no outside or inside of Śrī Krishna, nor is there any beginning or end of him. He exists eternally in his Swarup, both before the creation of the phenomenal universes and after their total destruction. In the interim, he pervades all the universes, residing within each of their atoms. Yet all the while, he remains Akila Rasamritamurti, the original form of condensed transcendental nectar in its totality. Or we could just say embodiment of the nectar of all mellows, of all rasas. In fact, Raso Vaisa, he is nectar. Thus, Śrī Krishna, being forever, my friend has this tattooed on his arm, Raso Vaisa. Thus, Śrī Krishna, being forever beyond the purview of mundane sense perception, is thoroughly inconceivable. Yet Mother Yaśodā simply regards him as her son. Thinking of him in that way, she behaves with him in such a natural and seemingly ordinary way that her relationship with him may even appear to be like the relationship from this world. But because of that simple loving relationship, she was actually able to bind Śrī Krishna. Śrī Krishna can never be bound by someone who has not abandoned all separate interests for selfish enjoyment, which are in opposition with the tendency to please him. He will only become bound by someone who cultivates Uttama Bhakti, which is the inherent function of one's perfected constitutional identity, and which is uninhibited by fruitive acts, mystic yoga, and dry knowledge. Therefore, Sri Bhagavan's power of compassion and mercy, the topmost among all his potencies, only becomes manifest by the performance of such Uttama Bhakti. In its presence, his Aishvarya Shakti, the power by which he displays his supreme majesty, becomes powerless. When Śrī Krishna manifests his mercy potency, he is controlled of his own accord. In their previous lives, it's 8:30, but we're just reading these 2 last paragraphs. In their previous lives, Devaki and Vasudeva performed extremely severe penances, but even they could not bind Śrī Krishna. And there's a footnote here. It says, although Śrī Krishna awarded them their desired benediction by becoming their son, he performed all of his sweet childhood pastimes in Vraj, away from their vision. When he returned to them in his latter pastimes, his identity as a supreme lord was revealed. Even Devaki and Vasudeva were not able to bind him. So what to say of others? He may willingly come under the control of a sadhak when he sees them eagerly perform loving service to him with great persistence, but he cannot be attracted by austerities alone. He is only attracted by sincere love. Before the advent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, bhakti was evident within the world, but not bhakti ras. Sri Rupa Goswami fulfilled the inner desire of Srimad Mahaprabhu. Within the sacred texts he compiled, especially Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and Sri Ujjvala Nilamani, he perfectly delineated the meaning of bhakti ras, describing all of its divisions and subdivisions in full detail. Srimad Mahaprabhu has propagated bhakti ras through his most confidential associates, Śrī Damodar, Śrī Rai Ramananda, Śrī Rupa Goswami, Śrī Sanātana Goswami, Śrī Raghunath Das Goswami, Śrīla Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Thakur, Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, my own Śrīla Gurudev, Śrīla Bhakti-Vigan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, and others. Especially our Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Swami Prabhupada, all his godbrothers and everything. Yes. Okay, so we are ending here for today, and we will continue tomorrow. We'll finish this chapter 2, and we'll begin chapter 3. This verse 2, and we'll begin verse 3. So now we will sing Damodarāṣṭakam. Okay, so let me just get the Mridanga, and then we'll start. Oh wait, and I'm gonna open up this open recent text. One second, and I'm dragging this onto the screen. There. Damodar. Oops. There we are. Okay. Oops, what happened? Sorry. Okay. Namāmīśvaraṁ sac-cid-ānanda-rūpaṁ lasat-kuṇḍalaṁ gokule bhrājamānam yaśodā-bhiyolūkhalād radhavamānam paramrishtam atyantatodrutagopya namāmīśvaraṁ sac-cid-ānanda-rūpaṁ lasat-kuṇḍalaṁ gokule bhrājamānam netra-yugmaṁ karāmbhoja-yugmena sātaṅka-netram śvāsa-kampa-tri-rekhāṅka-kaṇṭha sthita-graiva-dāmodaraṁ bhakti-baddham namāmīśvaraṁ sac-cid-ānanda-rūpaṁ lasat-kuṇḍalaṁ gokule bhrājamānam itidrikasvalilabhir ānanda-kunde asvaghosam nimajantam akhyapayantam tadiyeshitarkesho bhaktarjitavatvam puna prematasam shatavritrivam namāmīśvaraṁ sac-cid-ānanda-rūpaṁ lasat-kuṇḍalaṁ gokule bhrājamānam varam deva moksham namokshavadimba. Sorry, I just noticed I had varam deva moksham namokshavadimba. Varam deva moksham namokshavadimba. Honachanyam vrineham varisharapiha. Hoitam teva punata gopala balam sada me manasya virastam sac-cid-ānanda-rūpaṁ lasat-kuṇḍalaṁ gokule bhrājamānam idam te mukham bhojam-avyakta-nīlaya vṛttam kuṇḍala-śnigdha-rakta-śca gopya mohushchumitam bimba rakta-tarane manasya virastam alam lakshalam namāmīśvaraṁ sac-cid-ānanda-rūpaṁ lasat-kuṇḍalaṁ gokule bhrājamānam namadeva Dāmodarānanta Vishnu prasiddha prabhu dukha jala-bhimagnam kripa-drishti-vṛshtyati dinam-vatanu grihanesha mamagyame dakshidesha namāmīśvaraṁ sac-cid-ānanda-rūpaṁ lasat-kuṇḍalaṁ gokule bhrājamānam kuviratmajo padamurtaiva yadvat tvaya-mochito bhakti-bhajo krito cha tata prema bhaktim swakame prayacha namokshe graho misti damodare namāmīśvaraṁ sac-cid-ānanda-rūpaṁ lasat-kuṇḍalaṁ gokule bhrājamānam O namastestu dāme spuradipti-dāme tvadiyodarayatha vishvasa-dāme namo radhikāya tvadiya-priyaya namo radhikāya tvadiya-priyaya namo nanta-līlāya devāya tubhyam namo radhikāya tvadiya-priyaya namo radhikāya tvadiya-priyaya namo radhikāya tvadiya-priyaya namo nanta-līlāya devāya tubhyam namo nanta-līlāya devāya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Damodara Radha Damodara Jai Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Jai Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Hari Bol Shishi. Oh, Kishore, would you like to do Jaidvani?
Jai Suprakash Shishi Guru Gauranga Gan Harivika Girid Hari Radha Vinod Vihari Radha Nainath Radha Raman Vihari Radha Marva Shishi Radha Damodar Jiv Ki Jai Sri Govinda Govinath Madan Mahan Jiv Ki Jai Jai Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnu Par Paramahamsa Priya Brajacharya Varya Astotrashta Shishiman Bhakti Vigyan Shila Bharati Goswami Guru Maharaj Ki Jai जय नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णु पार परमहंस प्रिय वृषचार्य वर्य अष्टोत्तरश्त शिष्यमान भक्तिवेदांत शरण नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज परिपावन श्रील गुरुदेव की जय जय नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णु पार अष्टोत्तरश्त शिष्यमान भक्ति बल तीर्थ गोस्वामी महाराज की जय जय नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णु पार अष्टोत्तरश्त शिष्यमान भक्तिवेदांत शिल वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय जय नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णु पार स्तोत्रस्त शिष्यमान भक्तिवेदांत शिल त्रिविक्रम गोस्वामी महाराज की जय जय नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णु पार स्तोत्रस्त शिष्यमान भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय जय नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णु पार स्तोत्रस्त शिष्यमान भक्तिवेदांत मार्ग गोस्वामी परम गुरु महाराज की जय नित्यालीला प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णु पार स्तोत्रस्त शिष्यमान भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज परम गुरुदेव आचार्य केशरी की जय जय नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णु पाद स्तोत्रस्त शिष्यमान शिव ऋषभानाभिदयितदासशील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की जय सब्रिकार शिल प्रभुपाद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर महाशय की जय नित्यालीला प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णु पार महापरम भगवत प्रवार परमहंस अष्टोत्रस्त शिष्यमान गौर किशोर दास पक्षी महाराज की जय नित्यालीला प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णुपाद सप्तम गोस्वामी अष्टोत्तरश्त शिष्यमान सच्चिदानंद भक्तिविनोद ठाकुर महाशय की जय हे नित्यलीला प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णुपाद वैष्णव सर्वभौमा अष्टोत्तरश्त शिष्यमान चल जगन्नाथ बाबूजी महाशय की जय सूर्य कुंडवासी सिद्धर्शल मधुसूदन दास बाबूजी महाराज की जय श्री उद्धवदास उदयदास की जय गुरुविदान आचार्य शिष्यमान बलदेव विभूषण प्रभु की जय महामहोपरिव्याय रसिक शिरोमणि शिल विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर पार की जय शिल रसिकानंद मुरारी प्रभु की जय शिशिल रामचंद्र कविराज की जय श्री लोचन दास ठाकुर की जय शिल नरोत्तम दास ठाकुर महाशय श्रीनिवासाचार्य श्यामानंद पंडित प्रभुत्राय की जय श्री श्रील कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय व्यवतार अर्काविशल वृंदावन दास ठाकुर की जय श्री अष्ट कविराज वसुर जानव नित्यानंद तुलसी गोपाल श्री चौशक्ति महंत की जय जय श्री रूप श्री सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट रास रघुनाथ सर गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय श्री स्वरूप दामोदर रमानंद लोकनाथ गर्भ अदि गौर परिषाद वृंद की जय नमाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय शिल ईश्वरपुरी गोस्वामी पार की जय शिल मारविंद्रपुरी गोस्वामी पार की जय श्री अंतरद्वीप मायापुर सिमनद्वीप गौतमद्वीप मध्यद्वीप गोलुद्वीप ऋतुद्वीप जानुद्वीप मातृ द्रुमाद्वीप रुद्राद्वीप श्री नवद्वीप धाम की जय श्री एक चक्र धाम की जय श्री शांतिपुर धाम की जय श्री गौर चंद्र भगवान की जय श्री श्री गौर गदाधर की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ गोपी कपा गो गिर गोविंद श्री ब्रज मंडल धाम की जय श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गंगा सखी यमुना सखी तुलसी भक्ति देवी की जय विजयेश्वरी ब्रजेश्वरी वृषभानुनंदिनी श्रीमती राधा रानी ठाकुरानी की जय बोलो श्रीमती राधिका महारानी की जय जय श्री ललिता विशाख चित्रा चंपकला तत्तुंग विद्या इंदुलेखा रंग देवी सुदेवी हरि सखी वृंद की जय श्री अनंग प्रेम मंजलाली श्री रूप लवंग राग विलस गुणरति कस्तूरी कमल नयमणि हरि मंजारी वृंद की जय श्रीमती वृंद देवी की जय श्री भगवती पूर्णमास युगमाय देवी की जय श्री गोपीश्वर सर शिव महादेव की जय राधा पदन की धाम श्री वृंदावन की जय जय श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा सुदर्शन चक्र नीलमार्ग जू की जय श्री जगन्नाथपुरी पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र मंडल नीलाचल धाम की जय सर्वा विघ्न विनाशन करे भक्त विघ्न विनाश श्री नरसिंह देव की जय। भक्तराज भक्त प्रवर श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। श्री प्रहलाद लक्ष्मी नरसिंह देव की जय। श्री चरिताम चरि संप्रदाय चर्याचार्य की जय। श्री मध्वार मनोज विष्णु स्वामी निम्बदित्य चर्याचार्य की जय। आकर मातरा श्री चैतन्य मार की जय। श्री घोरियमार वृंद की जय। ग्रंथरा श्री मार भगवताम भगवद्गीता चैतन्य चरितामृत चैतन्य भगवत जय धर्म हरि सर्व गौरिय वैष्णव ग्रंथ वृंद की जय। त्रिभुवन मंगल श्री हरिनाम प्रभु की जय। त्रिभुवन मंगल श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन धर्म की जय। त्रिभुवन मंगल धन्य कले तरक ब्रह्म श्री हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे महामंत्र की जय। श्री आनंद गुरी वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री समकट गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा धमधार जीव की जय। श्री यशोदा दामोदर जी की जय। श्री कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल जी की जय। श्री दामोदराष्टकम की जय। श्री सत्यव्रत मुनि की जय। श्री पद्मा पुराण की जय। श्री व्यास देव की जय। श्री कार्तिक व्रत की जय। श्री दामोदर व्रत की जय। कार्तिक देवी दामोदरी श्रीमती राधिका रानी की जय। श्रील गुरुदेव की जय। शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रद देवी सत्यवत्याय नमो नमः। वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
Dandavat pranams, everybody. Hare Krishna. Pranams to to Nri Hari Prabhu and Bhavatarani Mataji, to Shubhananda Prabhu, Kishore Krishna Prabhu, and let's see on YouTube and Facebook there is Ujjwala Pradha Mataji, Harivol, and Raseshwari Mataji, Vidya Lalasa Didi, Raj Bhuvan Yadav Ji, Sudevi Didi, Vidya Lalasa, I already said, right? Yeah. And there are a few others also. Dandavat pranams to all of you. Thank you so much for joining in this reading of this wonderful book, wonderful commentaries of Śrīla Sanātana Gosvāmī and my Śrīla Gurudev. Thank you.
Do we have time for any? Dandavat Prabhu, thank you so much for the reading. We were going to watch a little short film, or do we have time? Or
yes. Like
okay.
what Kishore had, right?
Yeah, and I want to ask permission from all of you, Vaishnavas, that can something that struck me that you were reading, to think that the beauty of Krishna is manifested in proportion to the love felt by the. And so in the lecture at our place, we were going over the Rasa Panchadhyaya, and this sannyas, Bhakti Sarup, he was commenting that the form that Krishna manifests at Rasa dance is the most beautiful because it's manifested for all the gopis, but mainly it's Radharani's love that brings out the most beautiful Sarup, the most beautiful Rupa. So again, there's another way to show that she is the topmost devotee.
Yes, I mean, like we were talking about yesterday, also that part from Adi Lila chapter 4, where it talks about Krishna having a competition with Radharani because she loves Krishna supremely more than anybody else, and that love is constantly, eternally increasing, unlimitedly. And so Krishna's beauty and his love has to match Radharani because he manifests himself according to the devotee's love, right? And so his beauty is always increasing and Radharani's love is always increasing. There's a constant competition between them both.
Well, her happiness too. His happiness.
His happiness. Okay. Yeah. And so in that way.
But yeah, that competition. Prabhupada mentioned that early on, when I even by 73, when we knew that Hanuman opened the temple and he was telling us about Radha Kṛṣṇa, because we all have pictures, there was no murtis, no deities, no Gita or anything like that. So yeah, he said, Prabhupada explained to us that, that there's that competition, they're increasing.
Jai Ho. Okay, so we will. Thank you for that. Was a beautiful point. Let's look at this video. What was it, Kishore? Could you remind us? You sent it in relation to what we read. Was it about Kṛṣṇa stealing? Was that what it was?
Yeah, stealing butter.
Stealing butter. So why does Kṛṣṇa steal butter, right? So okay, let me just share my screen and share sound, and open this up on YouTube. All right. And now I need to share my screen. Okay, 1 second. This one. Okay. And I'll mute myself.
Child of small Gopal. Gopal, small child of Yaśodā Devi, so small. All the gopis and gops, milkmen and milkwomen, they complain to Nanda Mahārāja and Yaśodā Devi, you should be very careful about your son. Why? Your son is very naughty. Naughty? Oh, my son is very good. You see, when we sleep in the night and we keep lamp lighted so that no thief can enter. But your son, Kanhaiya, with other cowherd boys, in the midnight, entered into our house and blowing by the wind of the mouth, extinguished the lamp and stole all these yogurt and butter, etc. What is this? If you desires anything, we can give. Why is stealing? Then Nanda Mahārāja was very much astounded. Kanhaiya, you have done this? No, father. What you say, Papa? Daddy? I have not done this. They are speaking lie. Mother Yaśodā, Kanhaiya, you had been to the houses of the milkmen and milkwomen to steal? No, they are speaking lie. They are telling lie. Actually, Kṛṣṇa was speaking truth. Because all the milk women, they are preparing everything for the service of Kṛṣṇa. Yogurt, sweets, etc., butter, everything. But when they approach Nanda Mahārāja and Yaśodā Devi, we want to feed your child. Please send him, feed your child with you. No, I have got 10,000 cows. I am Nanda Mahārāja. Why my son will go to other houses to eat? No. Yaśodā also refused. Then Kṛṣṇa is Bhakata Vatsal, always subdued by the devotion of the pure devotion of the devotee. how to fulfill that desire. Kṛṣṇa himself went to, Papa, I want to take the food prepared by such and such gopis' house. Can I go? Oh, you have become greedy. You have got everything here. I can't allow you to go. How to fulfill the desire? So I am to become a thief to fulfill their desire. They are speaking, they are telling lie. They have prepared everything for me, and I have gone there as thief to fulfill their desire.
Jayo, that was really sweet. Thanks for sharing that, Kishore.
Thank you, Kishore.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe that might be a nice thing, like for the little after party we have after the. Oops. 1 second. Where is that playing? I don't even know where it's playing. Anyways, I have Śrīla Gosvāmī in the background. Yeah. Maybe that's a little thing we could do for the after party. If anybody wants to stay longer, then we can watch little clips from also Gurudev, of Gurudev speaking, or of Śrīla Prabhupada speaking, and like that. If there are any little like 5-minute clips like that, if anybody has, then you can send them to me. So yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds great.
Oh, 1 second. I actually can't hear you because I have another video playing. Oh, there. There. Now I can hear you. Can you say it again?
Oh no, that sounds great. I agree. That would be real nice. The
Okay,
after
cool.
transcendental party.
Okay.
We all like pictures, don't we?
We love to go to the movies.
Okay.
Yeah, transcendental movies.
All right. Dandavat pranams, everybody. I'm going to end the video for today.
Dandavat.
Dandavat pranams. Hare Krishna.